Hello, welcome to our second podcast at WritersOutpost on YouTube.com. Today we have Zythe, a prominent YouTuber that's up and coming within the scene who owns his own alliance. And we have our, again, co-host, CJ Okaski, which I got his name right this time, hopefully.
About time.
Second time's the charm, eh? Alright, so, Zythe, tell us a little bit about what you do in game and on your stream so far. I'm kind of curious what you have to say.
Yeah, so I don't have any presence on YouTube. I'm actually a Twitch streamer. With what it comes content-wise, in living in wormhole space, you have a lot of fighting, you have a lot of... We do mining. I'm an industry corp. You do a lot of mining. It's a lot of everything. But for stream, we usually are rage rolling our C3 for content, whether that means a fight or like a rock to mine. It's usually a rock. We always try to find something to do. And living in wormhole space, it's really hard to live in because you can get stream sniped very easy if your entrance gets leaked.
Oh man, I still just want to play a soundboard snippet.
So, I love PvP because it's like one of those things where when you're bored of mining all day, you go out, you roam, you gate camp, you do something to just blow off a little bit of steam to get you next through the next mining cycle, you know? And it's like one of those things where like there's nothing like it when you can finally shoot at something rather than worry about getting ganked all day. You know what I'm saying? So, Zythe, my question for you is, what was your most exciting PvP moment?
So we actually have like an ally. They are IPA, Independent Pilots Association, and we had just gotten our structures reinforced in the wormhole. We did proper hull control, we rolled everyone out. However, we had a bunch of ships in the wormhole we didn't know what to do with. So we ended up actually doing a friendly fight with these guys. It was, I think, 8 Drakes versus 6 Cyclones. And we did end up winning. It was pretty close, though. But it was just this large battle at the sun. It lasted for like 28 minutes. The entire thing was streamed. It was a lot of fun. When it comes to not friendly fights, we had about a month there where we had Wingspan camping our hull. Not a month, sorry, it was like 12 days. But we kept bringing out defense fleets, and they kept countering it over and over again. So we were just losing and losing. But it was a great learning experience of how to actually shape our doctrines to be able to fight against what they were bringing at us. Which I also think is one of the fun things about PvP is you learn so many mechanics of the game.
Right. Okay. How long have you been playing Eve, Zythe?
So I started 3 years ago, and then I took a 2-year break, and I came back about 8 months ago.
Gotcha. I've been playing since 2014. CJ, how long have you been playing?
I can't remember. Not logged in right now.
You can't remember?
Long enough. These are my secondary tunes. I believe I made CJ Okaski in 2018, but I've been in Eve since 2014-ish.
Gotcha. Alright, so, Zythe, our first video we covered drug usage in EVE Online through in-game products. Do you partake in any of those situations?
So I don't make boosters of any kind. However, there have been certain situations where we've needed to use boosters. Usually when we do our ESS roams in nullsec to find content, whether it's because we need the speed boost for a specific type of ship. We don't bring a lot of boosters into the wormhole currently, but it will be changing soon. We just don't have a lot of indie line for it.
Actually,
we'd like to make everything.
We do know someone that produces these kind of things for you. We might be able to introduce you and drop you a line with them. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, that would be cool.
What I will say is I would add drugs to your PvP doctrine. They will help you greatly. Even if it's just like a Lancia Tech 2 or Dose 2 or something. Just get some drugs in there because, you know, you got to be high as shit to do a fleet.
Yeah, we're definitely thinking about doing that again. I'm I'm pretty new to all of the like combat tactics because I haven't been playing this game for very long. But I've had a lot of people that are helping me out and helping me learn PvP, and that's something that has been highly suggested is always have boosters because it gives you that little edge in battle.
Exactly. It's like implants, only a lot less expensive, right?
Yeah. And they're like one-time use things instead of having to always worry about it being in your pod.
Right. All right. So, CJ Okaski, do you have anything you want to talk to Zythe about at this time?
Yeah. So I know you guys got in a fight with Wingspan recently. We did as well. We're actually in 5-5 space. But we just bought Wingspan not that long ago. I will tell you, from experience, if you fight Zoolanders or Wingspan, you're most likely going to be fighting some kiting comp doctrine, so just be prepared for the kiting.
So the only issue with that is because I'm a streamer, they only pick fights while I'm live. So as soon as I undock, they know what I'm flying and they counter it. If I undock anti-kite, they undock brawlers and fight us with them and grab ECM. So that adds like a whole different level of how we have to fight in wormhole space because I am my biggest spy.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like it. I definitely, I definitely wouldn't be streaming until you're in the fight. You know, I just block that part out for a few minutes.
Gotta make content somehow, though. It's
There was another dude that I ran around with that did the same thing you did, and yeah, he got his stream sniped all the time. So yeah, that's definitely a huge issue with an Eve when you got that sort of level of, stuff going on. So
yeah, I don't mind the stream sniping because yeah, we make a couple enemies, but they usually turn out to be our friends afterwards. Like I make a lot of friends in wormhole space and even in like low sec, null sec, just by doing what I do. And I love the fights, man. Like the fights are awesome.
me too. I love talking to my enemies after they kill me.
Yep.
Just being like, good fight, spread the good cheer, kind of thing. Like, I rarely ever get cheesed off at shit. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of those things where, like, you can't show somebody got under your skin in this game. Otherwise, they'll just keep coming at you. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So.
Yeah. So one of the things in wormhole space is if you don't take a fight and you just sit in your station hiding, that's when people start getting mad at you. That's why no matter who it is, no matter what it is, I don't care if I'm whelping into 12 Marauders, we're going to undock and we're going to take the fight.
Yeah.
Not only because it's good etiquette, but it's also a good learning experience of different mechanics in this game.
Right.
Yeah, if you don't take a fight in wormhole space, you're eventually going to get evicted. So it's a good rule of thumb to always just take whatever fight you can. Even if, what I would tell you to do is just ask them, be like, hey, we have this many numbers. Can we do like an equal fight? Just do something like that.
90% of the time, it's going to be a no.
No, not in JSpace. In JSpace, 90% of the time it's going to be, okay, we'll match numbers.
Yep, I've actually had that happen before.
So they do have that happen? All right.
Yeah. It's just, you go to null second and do that, you're going to get blobbed by 100 dudes regardless.
So, CJ, second, I'd like you to possibly state a situation where you've had even number fights from requesting Diplo, but Zythe, would you like to share an experience like that? Because it sounds like you have one.
Sorry, an experience like what?
Where, like, you have even number of fights, even though you had a huge blob on your side or something like that?
Yeah, there's been actually multiple times. I don't remember any specific corporation names, but we commonly get rolled into because of our statics. We're C2, C3, so a lot of times we get rolled into. But there was this one fight. I think it was. I don't want to give a name because I'm probably going to be wrong. But it was a really respectful, like, Wormhole Corporation was like, okay, we have 12 guys, and we want to make it a fair fight. And that's exactly what they did. We went to the Sun, they brought a fair fight. We lost. It was a good learning experience, but it was awesome because we were able to actually take that fight, and they were being respectful about it instead of just blopping us.
So there is respectful combat within this game. It's just you got to find it, and it's usually by chance or by diplomacy if you get it.
You got to be in wormhole space.
That too.
Yeah. Wormhole space corporations are some of the most respectful people I've ever met. Like, no one's actively going out and just trying to murder you just for hatred or something.
Gotcha.
It's always good talks afterwards. It's awesome.
See, for me, it's one of those things where I'm trying to get into PvP experience and stuff like that. I've been roaming into this Alliance's space. I found their two strongholds, made it out alive, but another corporation killed me outside of it when they were doing a gate camp and stuff like that. It was a lot of fun, but it's one of those things where, like, there's nothing like it when you're in seemingly enemy territory, you're scouting out and finding their actual strongholds. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's just a whole lot of fun. CJ Okaski, you sound like you've had a bit of experience with wormholers as well. Do you want to share one?
Yeah, I mean, I have a few. I mean, shout out to Laserhawks a few weeks ago because they rolled into us and they offered us, like, we were talking, one of my dudes was talking to them about doing, like, a fair fight. It was only, like, one dude online at the time. They brought out the same ship and did, like, a 1v1 type thing, even though that they had, the block behind the wormhole. Wolves is good at that too. You talk to them normally, as long as, it's an equal fight, they'll do it, as long as you do it beforehand. Forsaken Few, kind of the same way. Most wormhole corps that I talk to, at least that I know when they roll into you, if you don't have the numbers to fight them, a lot of times they'll down ship or at least lower down the number in fleet to kind of make it a fightable situation.
Ah, interesting. See, that's what I like about Eve. You never know what type of fight you're gonna get until you talk to someone about it. Otherwise, if there's no diplomacy, it shows how social this game is. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah.
Alright. So, we got a number of questions for you coming up since we got a few minutes of talk time in. One of my questions are, I saw your stream and you wear this Pikachu outfit or something like that. I was curious, what's that symbolize, and what do you want to tell our viewers what that means to you?
Yeah, so that was, again, like, my brother's my birthday last October, and my brother actually shipped me this Eevee onesie, and it was kind of like this gag gift for a while. But then I put a channel point redemption on my stream. It was 10,000 channel points. He would make me wear the onesie, and people kept spamming redeeming that. Like, it was every stream for a solid 2 weeks straight. So then I was like, okay, I'm just gonna put a channel points goal, which is where people contribute channel points up to a certain amount. And if they hit it, I have to do a thing. And that was to make the onesie permanent. So now it is my uniform. That is when I am live and doing the things.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, another question I have is, I've noticed that hydrating is a trend on Twitch or something like that now. Can you tell me how you got into that situation and why you do what you do with that?
So, hydrating is kind of like, on stream, it's really common for viewers to have, or not viewers, sorry, streamers to have like a hydrate reward redemption, but most people put a cooldown timer on it. Way back when I started streaming, I was super small, I was playing Minecraft, I didn't have a cooldown on it, and then it would come in flows of hundreds sometimes, and I would just have to drink water. And it was a lot of fun for stream, and it was decent content, so I didn't put a cooldown on it for that reason. It's a lot of fun.
Alright, so it's a fun thing for you, it's interactive for the community. You just get a lot more bits or something like that, is that what they call it?
It's just channel points, it's completely free.
Gotcha. Alright. So, CJ Okaski, do you got any questions for Zythe so far?
I mean, so far he's got most of what I would normally ask somebody. Do you run any alts?
Yes, I used to multi-box 6 tunes. I don't have the funds to do that anymore, so I multi-box my main and my alt. I usually only log the alt on if I'm doing porpoise boosting or if I need another rolling praxis pair. I'm hoping I can get back up to the point where I can do all 6 tunes.
Nice. So, I hope this isn't being nosy, but how much can you make multi-boxing tunes the way you multi-box? If you mine.
6 billion an hour? Not mining. But if they're max level in wormhole space, if you get lucky, oh no, sorry, not 6 billion, 3 billion. If you do ratting on all 6 tunes, you can make about 3 billion an hour.
Oh, nice.
But,
so it's
yeah.
what, 2.5 bill for plexing your account these days or something like
Yeah.
that?
The issue is that's in like ideal conditions where you have a bunch of ratting sites to do, you have ships that cost billions that can run them really fast. Like, you can make 500 million ratting in the C3 space, but it's really hard to do unless you have like a perfect wormhole.
Right.
So it's never actually like that. With one Hulk tune, when mining, I make about 180 million an hour. So if I had all of those guys with Hulks, that would be like, I don't know, about a bill an hour.
Not bad.
Yeah.
So, do you ever do carrier ratting or anything like that?
So I actually don't have any capital production. I also don't have the skill points to fly any carriers, or dreadnoughts even. In our class wormhole, you can't bring any through wormholes, you actually have to build them in there. And I don't have any way to do that, as I don't have any large structures.
Alright, because, if you bring in something too heavy, it'll collapse the wormhole or something like that, right?
You actually can't fit certain sized ships into certain sized wormholes. So because I live in a C3, that is a low class wormhole, it says only larger ships, which means battleship and below. Carriers they weigh a lot more, and you cannot fit them through large size holes. You need very large size.
Alright, that definitely elaborated on that.
So basically anything that's less than a C4, a C5, you can't fit capitals through. C5 and C6 base are the only two that can actually fit capital.
Alright, I did not know that. I'm sure many of our people watching may not have known that either, but it's good that you elaborated on that. So, how many people do you have in your alliance?
Hit 400 members. Not a lot, but it's enough to have a lot of fun with. I manually recruited about 225 people over the span of 2 months, and then from there, just connections kept growing, and we started getting corporations in the alliance. It's really hard to recruit.
Actually, I have someone recruiting for me and stuff like that, and I do a bit of recruiting myself. If you talk to people and get them interested in your corp, it's not hard to recruit. It's hard keeping them active and stuff when they're new bros, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's definitely not hard to recruit in the sense that you can get numbers, you just can't get them to stay on. When I'm recruiting, I usually go to the new bro systems because I value the fact that new players should enjoy the game and they should have fun. So I try to get new players into my corporation so that they can do just that. I let them have fun. I SRP ships. I get them into the EVE feel.
Right.
But a lot of them drop out eventually because EVE is a lot. It's a very complicated game. But yeah, it's exactly that.
Yeah, so like for my recruitment thing, I give out free ships for those that roam and PvP on with us and stuff like that. I even pay for their fittings and stuff like that because it's nice to give back to the community when you've been given so much. You know what I'm saying? It's like one of those things. It's like a philanthropy project a bit in a way, you know? Have you actually done any philanthropy on your own, actually? Let me ask that.
What do you mean by philanthropy?
Like, giving people ships, money, things like that.
Yeah. So I have an SRP program. If it's a doctrine ship, I will SRP it. I usually pay for any low-level skill books my new bros need. I also hand out mining barges and ventures for our new miner bros that might not want to risk their own ships in wormhole space.
Right. Now, I had a question, but I completely lost it. CJ, do you have any other questions for him at this time?
I mean, yeah. Do you have any intentions of like expanding to like higher class wormholes at any point?
Yeah, once we get big enough to actually defend that. If I moved into high class space right now, I'd be kicked out immediately.
Nah, no, you would.
Also, I like keeping my high sec static just so the new bros have an easy way in and out. Like, I never want people to feel like they're stuck in the wormhole right now. Eventually, once we get bigger, we might move into a C4 or a C5, but that's not on the plans for anytime soon.
All right, so people are terrified to go into wormhole space and stuff like that for the first time. What what encouragement could you give them to try?
Hmm. Wormhole space is a lot of fun, and not only that, but it's also a great learning experience because you need to know how to use DScan. You need to know how to keep yourself safe, and it's a good mechanic. The other thing I would say is like you can make a lot of money in wormhole space if you do it correctly. So even if you lose a ship or two here and there, which yes you will do, even if you're just in a scanning ship doing data and relic sites, you can make upwards of 100 million an hour just doing data sites and relic sites. If you bring something really cheap in that you're not worried about losing, you might walk out with a couple times the ship's value. As long as you're having fun in this game and you have enough money to replace what you're flying, you should do what you want to do. Wormhole space looks scary, but the people in wormhole space are awesome. So even if you do die, it's not like it's a bad experience.
Right. And that's what a lot of people fail to understand. Always fly what you can replace. Any more questions, or do you have any questions for us, Zythe, or anything like that, or CJ?
Yeah. There was one I asked earlier was what got you guys into the making like interviews of Eve players and what got you guys inspired to do this stuff?
All right. So I've always wanted to create a YouTube channel, but I needed to create a niche, and most people play for views. Most people play for creating content around EVE Online. I want to create content around the players and to show the social aspects of EVE because seeing people fly ships all the time is boring. When you get to actually hear from the actual player base, it's one of those things where it's a special moment. It's going to be trapped in history, and it's going to be one of those things where you can have fun listening to people talk about a game they love so much, if that makes sense.
No, that's awesome. I think it's really cool what you're doing. I've never really seen anyone do this before, but again, this game is older than I am, and I haven't been playing it for long. But yeah, that's really cool.
All right, so CJ, any more questions for Scythe?
Nope. I basically that's everything I have.
All right, so let's go on to news then.
News.
Scythe, do you have any news you'd like to share around what's happening around New Eden? I know that a lot of players are getting concerned about the pirate warfare with the faction warfare and stuff like that, about where high sec could be whittled down and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so the Silk Road got closed, and what that means is the insurgency now took over a couple systems, making the path between Jita and Omar not accessible through safe high sec. Um, and that's a really big thing that's been happening. It's been upkept. It means haulers hauling from Jita to Omar either have to go really far or they have to cut through dangerous low sec systems in order to get there. Or you can take a wormhole route that takes you around everything, but then that's wormhole space and you need to get that properly controlled. That's
Right.
probably the biggest thing. I don't really follow Null politics. I know that Eve Uni found a new wormhole because they got evicted recently, but
Ah.
that's the extent of my knowledge on news.
All right. So explain what Eve Uni is a little bit. I know they're like a new bro corporation that teaches new players how to fight, how to do make ISK and stuff like that. But do you have any experiences with Eve Uni?
Yeah, so one of my corpies is actually an old Unista. EV Uni is basically get people into the game. They have an entire wiki. It's really helpful. The experience that I've heard is that they got evicted from their wormhole, and something that they did when they did that. I'm not throwing shade or anything. I'm not saying I don't appreciate what they did, but they ejected ships from the station and they blew it up with the station guns in order to hurt the loss. And what that did was it stopped some of their members from having defense ships, and I think that was probably the biggest mistake that happened during that eviction. But yeah, they have like a wormhole kind of university kind of thing. They teach people wormhole space. They're really awesome guys. It's really cool what they do. And they found a new wormhole and they're moving into it soon.
All right. I remember years ago there was this group called Red versus Blue or something like that. Do you know anything about those guys?
They're probably older than my tune was.
All right. That's another group I'd like to interview at some point, but that's later down the road. So,
Yeah.
anything you'd like to plug in at this time? Your corporation, your alliance, whatever you're doing, type thing.
What do you mean plug?
Like, do you want to say what your corporation is for recruitment purposes, type thing? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, that would be cool. So I'm the alliance manager here at Void Nexus Alliance. We are a wormhole-based wormhole-based alliance. I'm all about teaching new bros how to live in wormhole space and how to make ISK and just how to have fun. I also do own a high-sec corporation. It is my basically introduction to wormholes that if you've never been to wormhole space and you're scared, we do day diving trips from there. And I teach people aspect, how to bookmark, how to descan. So if you guys are looking for wormhole space content, feel free to apply to VNA.
All right. CJ, any closing thoughts on this interview?
Not really.
Okay. Well, Scythe, I do appreciate you taking the time to work with us and stuff like that. All right. Well, we are about to close out this recording, so thank you for tuning in. We will see you in the next one.